Shoot of Headlands here with updates on scope. If you haven't figured out yet, unfortunately, scope was an April Fool's video. I am not making my lens just yet, but I would like to address some of the related topics to that subject, including how I made that video. So here's what we did. First off, I wanted to start with something exotic, and in anamorphic adapters, everybody's like, how wide can I go? Can I go wider? I want to go wider. So I figured I'd start there. 30 mil 2x stretch is pretty extreme. So I wrote my pitch and I ran it by Ari a few times to make it more fluid. And our main concern at this point was that folks would get super upset once they realized this was a prank and not a real lens. After that, I went back to school to use their studio space and their lights, and I shot my presentation part of the video when I'm talking in front of the black screen. And huge thanks to Ari and Renata Battistini during that stage. Then I moved on to create compelling images of the lens. And you see plenty of renders online that are pretty cheap and static, one image, generic type of thing, so I wanted to beat that. And in order to do so, I teamed up with my buddy Paul H. Paulino, whose work you're familiar with, because he worked on Black Panther, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Power Rangers, and a few other films. And we wanted to make the lens photorealistic, and that's where we went for. I did all the 3D modeling by myself, and for that I took reference in a bunch of cine anamorphics out there, but major reference came from Lomo. And it's accurate to the fraction of the millimeter. Even the glass elements inside of the lens, that the things that we don't see on the renders, still make a little bit of sense. From that point, Paul took over to make the textures and make it as real as we could. And together we worked on the set where the shots would take place, and that is my desk. So I took photos of of my desk from multiple angles, because that desk shows up in most of these episodes, and it would look familiar, you would look believable, it helps selling the illusion. After this, I consulted with another friend, Fernão Morato, who also helped me design other parts from previous episodes and shows up in a few tests. And he works in animation, so he helped me figure out the camera movement for the virtual camera in a way that it wouldn't look too digital, it would look realistic. So he helped me with that, and I hit render. And rendering those shots, each one of those 4 shots took 20 hours. So this is not the thing that I started making the night before April 1st. The last thing left was to shoot the actual footage taken with the lens. And for that I was planning to use a contact size 28mm paired with the Panasonic LA7200 and use diopters to fix any sharpness issues. But I got struck by luck, and I ended up using an Anamorphic Samyang 24mm f1.5 combined with the Lettuce Pro Anamorphic's 1.33, which is by far the widest combination I've ever tried out. The horizontal field of view equivalent is an 18mm on full frame, and that is much wider than 30mm 2x anamorphic would be on Super 35. I was not pleased with the amount of flares that the Lettuce was giving me. I also shot this part I shot last minute, so I didn't have time to reshoot, and I ended up resorting to After Effects to boost them up and create a unique visual that is comprised by the Anamorphic, the Samyang, the Lettuce, and After Effects. So all of those things created what looks like scope. Now that this breakdown is complete, here's a few words of warning that motivated me to make this video. Is with today's prices going up, that part is true. We're seeing a lot of people claiming that they're making their own lenses, and my worry is they're not always present in our community, and they're not always lens designers by any chance. So be extra careful with the promises you're buying. Even for buying adapters, the prices are too high, and that attracts scammers. So be careful with the things that you're buying online, and do your research. Find people you trust. The last thing to cover is price, because I got slammed by folks saying 4K is not affordable. And I think the main problem here is the lack of reference. So I went to experts and pros and people that shoot with actual cine anamorphics all the time and asked if a 30mm cine anamorphic would be too expensive at 4K, and it was almost unanimous that it would be too cheap. Because cine anamorphics are between 30 grand per lens, and the available options that are cheaper are SLR Magic at 5600 and Atlas at 8K. So it would fall into a weird category in which it is too expensive for users to buy, but too cheap for rental houses to own, which makes a horrible product. And because of that, I wouldn't expect any anamorphics in that price range. I wouldn't expect a full Cine PL Prime below 5 to 8 grand, which is very sad, yes, but it's a reality. Making an anamorphic lens takes a ton of time and money, and putting it on that price range is just not a good investment because the market is not big enough and there's not enough people to buy this lens. It's expensive to make and it's hard to sell. So where are we going with that? What did you guys think of this prank and its related insights? Are you disappointed that scope isn't real? Did you actually believe in it? I think there were a lot of folks that believed in it. So I'm curious to hear what you guys thought were good points and bad points. After all, you can still achieve the look. Anyway, before you go, please let me know what you think in the comments below. Hit the button to like this video and to subscribe to the channel, because next week I'm back with more anamorphics. I'm Chitofhedungs, and I'll see you then. Oh yeah, and next time I say I'm making a lens, I am actually making a lens. Remember that.